Hi, good morning, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia, and I'm on one. This is going to be kind of an involved reading and also a channeled message, which is something that I'm getting more and more comfortable with just owning, that I think I can do this, right? Like, I've kind of known in my own life for a while, but trying to tell other people that is a whole other thing. So there's a lot of insecurities involved in that, and even doing something like this, like just starting a tarot channel for me was I had to overcome a lot of personal fears about being visible and, being out there as someone who is an esoteric practitioner, and that it's become kind of the central focus of my life, right? So anyways, there's going to be a lot in this reading besides just a card reading for you. There's channeled messages coming in first. There's going to be a little bit from my personal story, so you'll understand why this is all here, and then a reading for you. So hopefully, I can also maybe timestamp it if you're more just wanting to catch the reading, but my sense is that I'm supposed to be doing this reading because the people that are going to be seeing it are going to value everything that comes out here. So I think you'll really like this reading, and I'm very honored and a little bit intimidated to do it because you'll see why as I get more into it. There's layers to doing work like this that I'm very respectful of. So the first thing I want to do is get to the channeled messages that were coming through for the viewer, a viewer or a handful of viewers, before I get into this other stuff. And they're great. So the first one, and it's been like every day for the last 3 days as I get ready to do this reading, is music, which I love. There's been a lot of channeled music coming through these readings lately. Excuse me. And this first one is kind of a torch song. Or the one that came through. It's, I think, the only song, if I remember right now. It's by Odebe. And it's called Hello from the Other Side, I think. And it's very extra. It is a super amplified, torch song of just bearing your total soul in heartbreak, right? And somebody is really in their feelings, and this song is capturing it for them. And it's almost like they're doing it knowing that it's extra, but they're like, I'm going for it. I'm going to let myself feel all of this because this is what it means to be alive. It's like that kind of thing. It's like this song has the marrow of life in it, right? For you or for this person. It's very extra. And you know that, or the person that's connecting with the song right now also kind of knows that and is aware that they're being kind of dramatic in their heart. And a little story came through for me about it, which is the first time that, kind of as a grown adult, when I was trying to start my own life, like maybe, thinking I'm going to have a family and have kids and get married and find my career. And it was that era in my life, my mid to late 20s. And, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, when that relationship, who I fell deeply, deeply in love with this person. I had kind of had like first love, high school type stuff, but that was real. I don't dismiss that kind of love. To me, that's real. Falling in love just because you're young doesn't mean it's not real. But for me, this relationship with this, where we were going to maybe get married, we ended up getting married, this person and I, but there was a point in time before we got married where we split up. And when we split up, I was just devastated. He broke up with me. And it was the kind of heartbreak that's, for me anyways, this has been the case more than once. When I'm so sorrowful or upset about something, like my whole physicality gets impacted. Like I can't stop crying, like sobbing, crying, vomiting. I can't eat. Like luckily that doesn't really happen to me anymore, but it did in the past. I still cry very easily. And in fact, sometimes I cry other people's tears, like just by being in proximity to them. It's a little much. I'm not always a fan of that. But when we were splitting up, I remember every heartbreak song that came on, I remember kind of feeling like that. Like, this connects me to other people. I finally get it. I finally really know firsthand what these songs are talking about. Like, I'm connected. I understand this universal experience of having your heart broken so profoundly, right? Like being not chosen by this person that you love so deeply, right? So it's like that. You are connecting to this Adele song and like, I finally know what this is. I finally know what it's like to have fallen deeply in love, to have faced the loss of that love and to go through the tragic sorrow of that and to even lament it in the way that Adele was like shaking her fist at the sky in that song, like, I'm sorry I hurt you. It's just very extra, right? So sorry, that's a long, but that's the first one. And it was, I wanted to try to make sure I captured the feeling. The next one is that, and this I also love, is that you are dealing with somebody that wants you to go beyond your 15 pieces of flair. I don't know if you're the same person now as this Adele song, but it's that same kind of vibe of like that really extra over the top. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a scene from Office Space in a restaurant that's kind of like a mocker, like a joke, a spoof on like Chili's, or not Chili's, but like TGI Fridays or something, where there's this whole like, we're a party atmosphere, and this waiter is like, can I get you some extreme fajitas? And just really like over the top, like insincere, like they could be talking about the death of their loved one and he's like laughing and talking about extreme fajitas and wearing his 15 pieces of flair, which is something. So anyways, if you know, you've seen the movie, and you're dealing with someone like that you're kind of seeing through, like, dude, what really is, who really even are you? This is all a facade. It's like, take this mask off. I'm not going to wear your 17 pieces of flair because of some weird secret code within you that thinks that I'm failing if I'm only wearing my 15 pieces of flair, right? Like, it's great. Whoever you are, this is really funny. And you're making this connection, like, you're like the Pieces of Flair guy. Like, what are you even about? You're about TGI Fridays? That's what your life is about? Like, it's something like that. It's really funny. So that's been a big, in fact, I'm probably going to put 15 Pieces of Flair in this title because I love that movie. And then there are two more kind of channeled messages, and then I'll get into this stuff and then the reading. So you are someone maybe that is at a similar time in life like me, or you're dealing with some challenges in terms of the feminine reproductive system. Hormonally, for me, it's that I'm in perimenopause and I'm entering menopause. I'm starting to go through the change of life, and that can take anywhere from like 4 to 7 years for those symptoms to totally resolve. And it's a fucking roller coaster ride for women that isn't discussed very openly, kind of privately amongst ourselves, but it's not talked about very much. That's changing as feminism impacts the medical system finally. But I'm kind of struggling with it because I've always had a difficult hormonal cycle. I've always kind of had, like, I'd say every third cycle, PMDD-like symptoms and migraines. And just, I don't like it. You know, I've just never been, I mean, as much as I love being a woman, I don't know many women who enjoy bleeding and having their period. It's not fun. It's a hassle. You know, there are societies that have made it sacred, but there are societies that consider it filthy, right? There's just a lot of charged stuff around menstruation. And I've been struggling with perimenopause symptoms, and I got on hormone replacement for a while, and it totally fucked my body up, so I got off that. And now I'm trying to find my way with my herbs, which is helping. And I found a couple other tips that I kind of felt like I should share here. I'm someone who's into beauty. I'm kind of vain, I'll just admit it. So this is sort of beauty type stuff, but it also is in terms of body comfort and self-care. So the first thing is dry brushing. If you don't know about dry brushing, you can do it for free. Basically, all you need is to get yourself the brush, which you can even use just a hair or bristle brush, boar bristle brush. It doesn't need to be a $30 dry bristle brush, right? But it should be a kind of a stiff bristle. And you just brush your skin from feet to top, and down towards the heart. And it's a way to stimulate your lymphatic system. And it helps with that sluggish, bloating, water retaining. It's invigorating. It's very, very helpful. And you can get that done like in spa treatments, but I never really knew about it as an Ayurvedic practice to just do for yourself every day as a way to stimulate your lymphatic system, drainage, and it improves cellulite. I've been doing it almost every day over the last, I'm a thin person, but I have cellulite and I don't like it. Many women hate cellulite, me included. I don't like the appearance of cellulite. As much as I want to embrace my body as it is, I'm vain and I don't like cellulite. So just I'm not trying to make you feel insecure. I'm trying to own my own insecurities. And dry brushing is very helpful. It can be helpful for cellulite. It's helping mine. I don't have a lot, but it bothers me. And I notice a difference immediately after dry brushing. And it makes you feel really good. It's great for your skin. It gives you a glow. It takes not even 5 minutes. It takes like 3 minutes. I'm still starting to do it, so I'm forgetting sometimes. But that is like worth its weight in gold. Just that tip alone. Free, super health supporting, invigorating. It feels amazing, and it supports your lymphatic system. So dry brushing. And then the other thing is getting yourself a personal red LED light. Like for, it used to only be that estheticians and dermatologists had them, but now you can buy your own. They're not cheap if you want a studio quality one, like not just a cheapo one that you buy at the pharmacy, but like a good quality one. I paid $500 for mine. Again, I paid it because I'm vain, because I want to take care of my skin, and it boosts your collagen naturally. It doesn't involve going under a knife or even needling. It's just light, and it boosts your collagen. And what I found out when I bought it is that it's also really good for arthritic pain. And I didn't know that. And I kept not really using, I have arthritic pain, but I kept not using it because I figured it was something that you have to do over a long period before you see benefit. Well, I'm wrong. So if you can afford it and you have joint inflammation and you want to be taking care of your skin, I totally recommend getting one of those red LED lights. That again is the best $500 I've ever spent. And you can now with things like Klarna and whatever, you can do it on layaway sort of, so you don't have to buy it all at once. I was lucky when I bought mine, I had the $500 to spare. I use that thing like 3 times a week. I have kind of gnarly arthritis in some of my joints, and it makes a huge difference, and it's instant. The pain relief is instant. So once I realized that, I was like, fuck, I could have been doing this the whole time instead of taking all this ibuprofen and Tylenol. And I still do, but I use the red LED light a lot more now, so I don't have to take it as much. So that's the other tip. Now, finally, to get into this whole table spread that I have here. So I'm someone that believes in past lives, and the reason that I've always believed in past lives from the time I was very little is that I have had past life memory from the time I was really little. When I was like even 2 and 3, some of my very earliest memories were feeling like an adult and not understanding how I knew the things that I knew. Like I knew things about colonial America. I knew things about things that no 3-year-old knows. Like maybe you start getting exposure to that once you're in Head Start, but I was already knowing like George Washington was the president, like things that a 3-year-old would not know. And I understood them with an adult mindset. Like I couldn't have spoken them to anyone, but I remember knowing those things. And as I got older, my dad was also interested in reincarnation and sort of interested in metaphysics, but he was a little embarrassed about that. So he only talked about it with me. But he was interested in past lives. I fully believe that my dad and I had been in multiple lives together. And so this is leading into a past life that I learned about when I... let's see, it's been about 4 years ago now, and I was working with a healer and a hypnotherapist and practitioner who was helping me do some like liminal space work, understand more about like what were some things that to me felt like maybe they were past life things that were traumas that I was experiencing in the now, but that I didn't understand. And the past life was so vivid that I knew, again, there's no way, I don't know any of this history, barely peripherally, but I knew things from that past life that there's no way I knew. I confirmed it by doing my research after the session was over. I went in and studied about the Caribbean and whatever, because I had a past life with this person who I'm in a connection with in my present day. And there was a lot happening between us that I didn't understand. And I learned about a past life that we share where we were married. And we were practitioners or believers of like the Ife or Yoruba, Odebe faith, the syncretic faith in the Caribbean. And someone killed my partner, my husband, in the past life. And after he died, he was killed or he died of an illness, like a poisoning or something. I don't know exactly what it was. It was an upsetting death. It was a traumatic, unexpected death that really brought me a lot of sorrow in the past life, because we both were this part of this community, And this person's death was caused by the colonial settlers, and they didn't respect our practices about what to do with his body after he died. So there was a part of him in the present day that had a wound from not having his body treated properly in the Ifa tradition, or Ife tradition, where he needed to have his body bathed, dressed in rum and a decoction of herbs, wrapped in a white sheet, and treated in a particular way. And he didn't get that. And in that tradition, that's huge. It should not ever have happened to him. And it was very upsetting. And a part of his soul couldn't rest because his body in that life was not treated well. So at the time, I was really floored. And there were a lot of little signs and symbols in that past life that I was shown that were like trailheads for me to follow, so I could do my research to confirm this is real. Because you don't know about these parts of the Caribbean islands. You've had to learn about it since then. And it bears out what you saw in your past life memory. So this now explains for me personally why, since I would say about 2010, I have been having visits from Oshun. And there were times that I thought it was Oshun, but to me as a white woman, that's problematic. And so I kept thinking from my mindset of like, you're idealizing syncretic, like Santeria and things because you're drawn to that. That's why you think Oshun is coming to you. It's because you're idealizing that, and what you need to do is go and find your own tradition. And that's what I did. I went and found my folk magic teacher from my ancestral lineage, which is Eastern and Western European. And so that's where I started. And that's where all of this has come into being. Some of it is from before. Like this is from Nola. This is a little prosperity doll that I bought in New Orleans like in 2012. No, not even 2012. What am I saying? Like 2001, before Katrina. So this is from Marie Laveau's House of Voodoo. I have had feathers rain down in my life for like the last 10 years. And I made this feather fan for my work, for myself. I've never shown it to anyone, maybe like 2 other people. And I barely use it because I thought, this isn't my lineage. I could feel when I was making it, I was like, what's happening? Like, these are not your traditions. So where I started was ancestor veneration of my ancestors. I did trance work with my teacher to connect to an ancestor. That's how I started down this path for myself with my ancestors. So if I'm being guided to share this because I think this is maybe in play for you to some degree, that you're on this path and you're trying to find your teachers and your posts that are signals to you. And Oshun has been giving me signals and signs for like 12 years now. A mercury dime that I found like 8 years ago that's very southern U.S. Caribbean influence, like syncretic, right? Using a mercury dime to do magic and mojo. This doll being drawn to New Orleans, I dream about the islands and regularly, like I feel like I have maybe souls in this that we share I don't know, truly I don't. But it got to the point recently in the last month where I can't ignore that it's Oshun. And this morning it all came together for me. It's not because she's telling me I want you to go down the Yoruba path necessarily, although maybe someday, even though I'm a white woman, I'm trying to get comfortable with it, because these are signs that are way beyond this. This is like I had an Ife priestess show up in my dream and offer to lay me down on a white sheet. And so I thought maybe I'm supposed to get healing. Maybe there's healing for my soul so that's where I was starting. But it's as I've put this all together through scrying through these mirrors, through seeing a comb yesterday in my path, a beautiful comb, literally a comb on my trail, blue, raining down blue everything, feathers, which have been in my life forever, like all of it. It's just all coming together. And it's not so much, I don't think, at least right now, because I think I'm all that and I'm now gonna go into becoming an Ifa priestess. It's not that. It's that I'm drawn to these things because of that past life, and because now that I'm doing scrying work and I'm sort of drawn to flowers and vanity and beauty and water. Water's a huge thing for me in terms of caverns and water scrying. portals, the obsidian mirror, this amethyst galaxy cluster, it's her telling me you need to pay me homage because you're in my world. You're in my world. And I want to work with you if you want to work with me, but you need to start showing me homage. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm showing her homage. And I really invite anyone into the comments to talk about this, because I'm totally aware of the layers of power involved in this, and this is not something I would have pursued through my own ego because of that, because it's not my lineage, because my lineage is like Eastern European folk magic, Western Europe folk magic, distillation and brewing and things like that. That's my ancestral lineage in this life. But I have a past life that took place in the islands, and it had to do with, and I know that it's somehow related to this person that had an unrest in his death and have his body treated badly. So these are things to honor Oshun, this shell, these leaves and berries that are beloved by the birds outside. I reclaimed a vulture carcass, and vulture has been a guide for me. It was my first animal guide, and that's connected to Oshun. Okay, so I think that she's been trying to make herself known to me for a long time. But because of all the layers that we're in this society, I didn't trust a lot of it for a long time. And who am I to be visited by Oshun as a wife? Like, I'm not comfortable with those power layers. So maybe she's been patient with me. I'm in no way trying to speak for her in any way. I am not a channel for her. What I'm doing is answering what she is asking me to do, which is honor her here, because I'm using her tools. I care about beauty. That comb was in my path. I made this feather fan. I'm drawn to white. A lot of my artwork has been black ink on white sheets. It's in my lineage in some way from a past life. And so now I'm going to spray this rose water here to honor her with the flower. Have this little abundance. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Here, let's just put her back here for now. So I need to kind of clear some of this away. I'm pouring sweat. So that's the other thing. There's something that I feel like there have been times that she's been in my body, and I don't know what to do about that, because I remember in the past thinking if I ever had these kinds of esoteric or magic type powers, I would be terrified to be a channel where another spirit took my body over. Like, I don't know about that. So that's where I'm at, and I'm just trying to be real about it. Like, I sensed it happening at one point when I was sobbing the other day, and I knew it didn't feel like my tears. They felt like channeled tears, and she is known for tears. And so then I was like, what's happening? I think she's just trying to get my attention to say, you need to start honoring me. You're working with all of my tools. You're drawn to all of the things that represent me, including blue, including the oceans, including mermaids, including the mirror, including the comb, including vanity. It's all like, she's really saying, show up for me and honor me here. So, okay, enough. I'll let those words speak. One thing I started asking her last night is, how can I honor you now that I'm trusting that I think it's you speaking to me? How can I honor you? And this is what came through this morning. So I've got my cup here of water to honor her. Also, this is my mother's teacup. White. I put this white out here. What's going to be important for us to know? What's going to be important for us to know? This has happened to me one other time, and it was when I was going through an experience of feeling that someone was practicing dark magic against me, black magic. And at that time, the magic that felt like it was coming through was Chinese magic, honestly, or from the East somewhere, old tradition of magic, right? And so while I was trying to sort through whether I believed that that was happening or not, and in meditation, the medicine Buddha told me to make him an icon. And I didn't even know about the medicine Buddha. I just knew that a Buddha was showing himself to me with blue skin and told me, make me an icon. And so when I came out of that meditation, I set about doing it. And it's on my altar. I honor and thank him all the time for that, because I feel that he came in and helped me at a time when I didn't know what was going on. And so now I honor him and thank him for healing me and lending his healing energy to my altar. So now I feel like this is happening again with Oshun, and they're both drawn to blue. So do you see, like, this is something that feels bigger than me, and it's not for me to impose this world's rules of like, you're not allowed to talk about that. What I'm trying to heed is a higher call. And she's telling me to do this because I'm working with her tools. I didn't set out to do that, but I've been drawn to her. You know, I think I'm in a relationship with her for some reason, maybe from the past. Maybe she loves me from that past life. I don't know, but I'm going to be trying to work to make sure I don't offend her. She's not a goddess you want to offend at all. And I'm very aware of that this morning. Like, I need to do what she's telling me. I don't want to offend her, that's for sure. Because I think she's helping me with these gifts. If I will honor her. At this point, it feels like to keep doing the work I'm doing, it would be a disrespect to her not to honor her. So I'm going to make her a puppet, like I made the icon for the Buddha, so that I can honor her. And these are things that she likes: oranges, cinnamon, white. So if you're someone that's drawn to this kind of work and you're wondering, like, how do I start to do that kind of thing? I was very much like that, and I started with my ancestral lineage. And that's easier now, and I'm very conscious of the fact that I don't want people who don't know their ancestral lineage to feel like they can't access it, because you can. You can access it through meditation like I did. You could even, if you're really science-minded, you can access it through understanding your DNA, getting your DNA profile done. I haven't had mine done because I'm paranoid. And I'm like, is 23andMe Skynet? Like, I'm really tripped out about stuff like that. But, yeah, anyways. So this looks like it's something to do with your journey here. Like this, like what we're talking about. You're in a really abundant place where you're solid on your 2 feet, right? Like you are... just sort of like, I'm seeing all of a sudden like svelte and independent just came through for some reason. Svelte isn't really a word I use, but svelte and independent. Like you're feeling like I'm also seeing like a swan. Like you're feeling like you're coming into, and swans are big for me too. And it's like you feel like you're coming into your beautiful self, kind of. Svelte. And you're knowing that there's workings going on around you that might be a little bit not to your advantage or causing you some conflict. Even though you're in this kind of live and svelte, solid, abundant, sovereign energy, there's energies trying to work against you for some reason, and you're trying to, but it's moving to calmer water. I don't know what these energies are. It's working. It's collaborations of conflict that are in your way for some reason. That could be any number of things, and maybe we'll flesh it out and maybe not, because I feel like I've already talked a lot. But let's see. Your vulnerability here is that you know that things are about to change. You're right on the threshold of a new kind of beginning of some type. You're right there. You're standing at the threshold, and it makes you feel maybe apprehensive a little bit, or unsure if you're up for it, or nervous a little. But there's a lot of communication coming in about it, a lot of energy, a lot of quick moving changes. And you might be feeling like, God, am I really ready? Because it's coming for me, whether I'm ready or not. And I felt like that as Oshun started getting louder and louder. I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Like, I don't know what she's going to ask of me. And as much as I've wanted and called into my life these abilities to be able to work with dreams that help people, to be able to read cards in a more helpful way, to be just more on an esoteric and spiritual type that resonates with me and not just talk therapy, right? Like, I noticed almost right away, what if I can't do what she wants of me? I was looking into like, what is it? I don't know. Just anyways, that's what's happening for you a little bit. But this is your life path. This is my life path card, which is the Emperor. So it's showing me that you're on your life path here. Those are the facts. You're coming into your regality and your sovereignty by following this trail that you're following of spiritual work, of heart-based work, or of a romance here and relationships. You might, oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see. There's going to be a little bit of worry here for you because if you're following a larger spiritual calling, it's going to be hard not to be distracted by love. There's love in play here, and I think that's why I picked that up, because of this 2 of Cups. I picked it up at first, and this 2 here, it's kind of like 1, 1, 1, 1, right? Like there's something about a relationship here. And you're a little bit worried that this romantic relationship, or it's possible that the romantic relationship could distract you from the spiritual path somewhat. But what I'm sensing is that you're going to be able to sort of integrate all of it so that you have all of it. And that's Oshun and Yoruba's message, right? Is that joy is our birthright. Beauty is our birthright. Comfort is our birthright. Enjoying the existence of the body is our birthright. Like, we're here and meant to be happy and joyful and supported by the earth and in harmony with the earth, dancing, planting, plants, growing, connected to nature, right? Connected to water. These are all things, you can have it all. There's a worry in you that you're worried that love is going to be a distraction. And what this is saying with the Sun card is that you know better if you start listening to this guidance, is that you don't have to choose. You can have it all. There are some branches of like shamanism and stuff where a spirit will try to take you as their wife. I don't know, or husband. And I don't know enough about these traditions to know then, what does that mean? Does that mean you never marry? Does that mean you never have an earthly partner? Like what, and I'm sure we're in a new era, there's no rules. And that's the other thing. There's kind of a do what thou will, like as long as you're being respectful, and this is the first step for me, is that I don't have to know all the answers right now. What I'm being asked to do right now is honor her. And so that's what I'm doing. And I'm being asked to honor her publicly and to be willing to risk being criticized for honoring her. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to answer that. And where you're headed is going within to listen to the truth of this. This is the truth, but distractions and conflicts in your life may be pulling you away from the truth at times. And the advice is to go towards your inner truth. Go inward. Actually, I'm not going to pull tarot. I'm going to pull from this deck here. What can you do to honor the path that you're being called to right now? What's some advice for you? What can you do to honor the path that you're being called to? Breathe on the bottom, right? Just go step by step, go slowly. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to slow down. Last night, when I was being flooded with a lot of this, because I was kind of overwhelmed yesterday with all of this, and I was trying to just listen to know that it's okay, you're going to be overwhelmed, just settle in. Let it settle into your body, and understanding, be patient with yourself. And I realized this morning, you got to do this reading. But last night, when I was still kind of trying to find my way through, like, what are you asking of me? I don't understand. Like, at some point I was kind of yelling and I was like, you need to give me a break. I don't understand. I'm trying to listen to what you're asking of me, but I've been channeling this shit all day. I'm overwhelmed. My mind is swimming. I don't understand what I'm being, like, I need to get stoned because I smoke pot. So I'm like, I need to get stoned and stop for now. It's too much. I can't take in anymore. And that was okay. I was respected in that moment when I said, I can't take any more information. You need to stop. I need to get stoned and I need to go to bed. I was listened to. So this is a lot of I'm just hoping this is okay. I'm trying to just trust that this is all okay. Breathe. Don't take it all so seriously. I get this card a lot. It's from a guide of mine. It might even be from Oshun. I don't know. Because look at this beautiful energy here. She might be saying, don't take it all so seriously. Laugh. We can laugh at this. Joy is your birthright. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. And that's a Yoruba tenet. I was doing a lot of research about this because as this has been coming in for me, I've been like, well, maybe it really is real. Do your research and see. And it's showing me the things that I have been seeing are true, like the mirror, the comb, those are symbols of her that way precede me. And I didn't know that until I started following this trail. And so look, this is a card that often when it's in the reverse is a little bit of like trickster energy. It's just saying there's nothing to fear. Joy is our birthright. Keep following my guidance. Keep showing up. Keep honoring your practice, honoring your whatever your practice is. This is going to be my practice and yours is yours. And you may be able to find it through starting to do ancestor work. That's how I found my relationship to my guides, was starting with my ancestor. I had another guide, my very first guide, come to me when I had my attunements to Reiki. And so that's another way too, is getting attuned to Reiki can help prepare your body to start tapping in to this world, right? Because when I started tapping way into scrying, almost right away, the jinns started showing up. They want to know, what are you doing? Do you want to work with us? This is our realm. What are you doing here? What can we do for you? Can we serve you? Those jinn wanted to serve me so that they could get something from me, and I don't know what it was. And jinns can be tricksters. So I said respectfully, no, thank you. I don't want you to serve me. I don't seek power, because I don't seek power. So other than the power to protect myself. And so, anyways, yeah, sorry. I don't know where that's going ultimately. But then when Oshun started showing up, I will work with Oshun. I respect the syncretic traditions. I respect the jinn. I don't seek power. I don't want 3 jinn kings serving me. That's too much power. I don't seek power. Oshun is a compassionate but powerful fuck around and find out deity. Like I would be honored to serve her because she works from the heart and isn't ashamed of her tears. And so I'm going to do what she's asking of me right now. And that's all I know. So that's a good advice and place to close this reading for you. I hope you enjoy, and please come back for more. I'll see you in the next one.